it was a hybrid of online participants from overseas and some physical attendance in Tokyo on site. And speeches were given by more than 19 VIPs, including heads of state and ministers from around 60 countries, and heads of international organizations, and representatives from the private sector, civil society, and academia. And major participants from the government of Japan and other countries, as well as international organizations, are listed here. So if you can look at from the Japan side, on the left-hand side, the Prime Minister, Mr. Kishida, addressed the summit. And relevant ministers, Minister for Foreign Affairs, Mr. Hayashi, as well as State Minister for Foreign Affairs, Ms. Suzuki, as well as the Minister of Forestry, Fisheries, Mr. Goto, attended the opening of the summit. And if you can look at the right-hand side, these are just some examples, but in terms of the heads of state and government, there was attendance from the president of the DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, as well as Prime Minister of Bangladesh and Prime Minister of Timor-Leste, as well as not listed here, but the President of Madagascar, and followed by other ministerial level participation from different countries. And if you look at regarding the UN and international organizations, Mr. Antonio Guterres, UN Secretary General, attended and addressed the summit, as well as the President of the World Bank and Executive Director of UNICEF, as well as DG of WHO and FAO and other international organizations. And just to explain the outcome of the summit, if you can you go to the next slide already, so it will be easier to capture the gist of the outcome. So as you can see from this infographic, so in terms of the commitments, so the characteristics of the summit is that rather than having different speeches, we ask the participants and of all stakeholders to present their commitments on the nutrition matter, whether policy or financial standpoint. And we have been able to gather 396 new commitments from different stakeholders, including 66 countries, 26 businesses, and 51 civil society organizations. And in terms of the financial commitments, we have gathered about over 27 billion US dollars announced at the summit or registered for the summit. And these are, by the way, these numbers exceeds the previous summits in London in 2013 and Rio in 2016. And also, there were more than 120 side events held regarding the summit, and also the final outcome called Tokyo Compact on Global Nutrition for Growth was endorsed by 215 stakeholders, including 65 governments. And this number also exceeds the previous summit. And in terms of the speakers, so there were more than 120 official speakers at the summit, and including 5 heads of state, and also in terms of the viewers, more than 10,000 viewers view the actual proceedings of the summit. And also, as you can see on the right hand side, the France announced that France will be hosting the next N4G summit in 2024 alongside the Paris Olympics and Paralympics Games. So this is the gist of the outcome. If you can go back to the easier slide. Yes, so I won't go into detail in terms of the summary of the outcomes, but I will go over the commitment from Japan because I didn't cover that so far. So if you can look at the fourth point, as for the commitment from Japan, Prime Minister Mr. Kishida announced that Japan would provide nutrition-related assistance to the world, which will amount to over 300 billion Japanese yen. That's equivalent to 2.8 billion US dollars. And for the next 3 years, to contribute to achieving universal health coverage, among other important goals. And Prime Minister Kishida also stated that Japan would improve domestic nutritional status by promoting nutritional and environment-friendly dietary life, balanced diets, and health and productivity management. And following the emergence of the new variant Omicron, he also announced that using this occasion, that Japan would donate approximately 10 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines to Africa, given its urgent needs. And so in terms of other financial commitments, you can also see that from the very bottom of the slide. So just for your reference, and this lists major financial contributions from different stakeholders, from EU and other entities, 11 billion from the US government and 2.8 billion from EU, and 2.4 billion from UNICEF, 1.35 billion from African Development Bank, and 922 million from Gates Foundation, and about 900 million from Ireland, and 650 million from Germany, and 450 million from the Netherlands. These are just examples, major examples, followed by many other entities committing financial commitments. So maybe I was too efficient, but these are the major points from the N4G summit just happened. So if you have any questions, I will try to address them. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Director Dr. Ezoe. Would you please raise hand button and ask questions? Or you can send your questions in text by chat box, please. You see the chat box in the bottom of the screen. No questions? Thank you very much. Chat box に入ってますね。はい。Yes, we can send the Zoom recording data about 1 hour later. And
So,
also,
Yeah. So thank you for the chat question on the chat box. So it says to share with you the presented report. So would that mean the recording of this, which will be shared, or do you also mean that any sort of actual report or some outcome document to be shared? If the latter, we can definitely share with you, the core outcome, which is the compact, with the attachment of different commitments. So, okay, so any sort of actual report. Okay, so we can share with you the compact itself. It's it consists of the actual outcome part, the declaration kind of part, and also with these individual commitments from countries and stakeholders. So we will definitely share with you those compact and also some other relevant documents. Thank you. I guess my presentation was clear enough so that not much questions.
So should you have any more questions, please send us by email later. Maybe we can send you answers.
Actually, we did have some additional comments at the chat box, but I guess it's in
French.
French. Any French speaking?
Somebody can help with translation of the chat box that we received from Mr. Jean Pochet.
Sorry, I myself is illiterate, unfortunately, regarding French. Any other colleagues who can do that on site? Otherwise, we could send back afterwards. So on the French question, we will come back. We will come back later. And okay, so there's a question about the post-monitoring mechanism to implement the decisions. Yes, this is a very important point. I think this will be, well, in the compact, which is the outcome document, we did. So there is this section about the commitment following up a mechanism, and there's this entity called GNR, Global Nutrition Report, which was instrumental in sort of compiling this draft outcome document itself, as well as compiling different commitments from different stakeholders. And they are central in following up about those commitments, as well as the agreement that was endorsed as the compact. And so fortunately, the French government announced that they will be hosting another N4G summit in 2024 alongside their Olympics and Paralympics. So we will at least be able to monitor the progress and whether we have sufficient progress by the time of the next N4G summit. But this GNR and other stakeholders will be hold us accountable for the progress that we on the commitments we made. So that is the short answer. If you're interested in a bit more, so there is this framework called Nutrition Accountability Framework, which is used by the GNR. And so this new framework was also agreed upon through this compact. So if you're interested, please look into this particular framework. And Nutrition Accountability Framework, it's also called NAF, which is managed by GNR, Global Nutrition Report. Okay, so thank you for the thank you for elaborating on the question in French, in English for us. So we see that is about the food self-sufficiency. Okay, so food self-sufficiency is a concern for the countries of the Indian Ocean. What are you planning on this? So, okay, so rather than I try to ask this specific question, we do contain this aspect of food self-sufficiency and food security issues under the theme of food security, which is one of the 5 themes of the N4G summit. We will come back with you to point out the specific points that was included in the compact. And also you would be able to see those specific commitments regarding Indian Ocean area. So we will try to address that question through sending you those documents with highlighting your specific question. But thank you for the very relevant question. Okay, another suggestion was to, okay, so we send the relevant reports and then you would come back with some specific questions. Yes, that is also possible. So once we send relevant reports and compacts and the outcomes, and then we will welcome your follow-up questions after reviewing those. And there's some other additional question from the Indonesian colleague.
Maybe you can put your microphone on and ask questions on. Miss Lucy Wakeett, you there? Would you please put your microphone on and ask questions?
You could also send some written comments or question in the chat box as well, if you prefer. or by email.
So thank you very much for your attendance today. Because we don't have any more questions right now, we will close the session.